Hey guys, welcome to episode 1 of the Scars and Markets podcast. I am your host, Johnson Pierre-Antoine. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down how Regian Eersel got the beautiful knockout on Jarvis the other day. Now, so what he did was something that he did in the past against Joe Nottawat, where he would catch the body kick with the right hand and catch the body kick and then come back with the right hand. But against Joe Nottawat, what he did was he caught the kick and then threw the right hand, but Joe Nottawat, and he knew that Joe Nottawat was going to evade the right hand. He just threw it as a disguise and followed through with the right leg and threw the head kick, which eventually knocked out Joe Nottawat. If you guys want to watch that fight, it's on Lions Fight. I think Lions Fight 45 or 47, something like that. But check it out. But now, versus Jarvis, what Regian Eersel did differently was that he caught the body kick, and throughout the entire fight, he had his classic forward pressure style, backing Jarvis into the corner, having elite ring generalship, utilizing the jab very well, but and utilizing his controls and cutting off the ring exceptionally. But what he did differently versus Jarvis that he didn't do versus Nottawat was that, my apologies for that, that he did differently was he caught the kick with his right hand, but instead of throwing the right hand like as a disguise to follow through with the head kick, he committed to throwing the right hand to the face, because the straight right to the face, because Jarvis doesn't have the same level of defense as Joe Nottawat. Let's just keep it real. So, and also, I don't also think he doesn't have the experience of Joe Nottawat. So Joe Nottawat is familiar with catching counter styles, especially against Dutch fighters. So, or just that style of fight, or you could say Muay Mat style fighters. You know what I mean? More hands, more hand focused, boxing focused type of kickboxers. Now, one thing I will say though, that I had a problem with, was that a lot of fighters in MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, at the highest level, and it's so sad to see and it bothers me, the lack of promotion on these fights, bro. Like, especially after the fight. Like, for example, you go on YouTube right now, you go on One Championship. Mind you, I love One FC. I would love to fight for One FC. I like the UFC, I like PFL, and I'd love to fight for those promotions. But One FC is something about fighting in Asia, where you're around people who are more positive. Yeah, there may be some people who don't like me. Who gives a damn, right? But people are more positive. They feel like they respect the martial art more, rather than on the West. They're more savages. They care more about savagery, and it's true. The fuck, we all know it. So I'm not talking nonsense. But yeah, so essentially, that's why I love One. But the thing is, when you go on their channel, they haven't even posted the full fight yet. They only posted clips. The fight was 2 days ago. You know, if not longer than that. You know, and like for example, Regian Eersel's walkout was legendary. You know, the thing about UFC, what they do is they post the fighters' walkouts. They post it on the YouTube Shorts. They post on the Instagram Reels. You know, they get the crowd invested in the fighter on a more personal level. And that's one thing these other promotions lack, that are not doing. They're not taking the time. Like, PFL did it with Thad Gene. Shout out to them. But after the fight versus Jason Jackson, they didn't even post the highlights, bro. They didn't even post him whooping Jason Jackson's ass immediately. Like, you only find a little bit of clips here and there that shows an even playing field. But the pure dominance, it's like as if they don't want people to see that they're champion, or whoever that, not even their champion, but it's like they don't want people to see what happened. And to me, it's unfair to the fighter. Like, the second, they should have someone on their Instagram page posting shit immediately after each round, clips after each round. You know, keep people invested. People who didn't pay for the fight. People who didn't pay for the fight should be able to go on Instagram and at least catch a clip of how the last round ended, or the most interesting points of that round. To me, that's how you market. And yeah, guys, that's just something that I had to get off my chest, because as a fighter, you must take your marketing into your own hands, because these companies do not give a fuck in terms of your image, your brand image. They care, of course. They gave you the opportunity to fight, of course. But I'm talking about Man, they paid you. But I'm talking about your brand image and your marketing. If you don't want that flames to be extinguished like 2 days after, because after you fight, bro, people are gonna forget about you. They're gonna be waiting for the next event. You know what I mean? And especially if you're fighting for a promotion that's big enough to keep putting on shows every week, like every weekend, like the UFC or one championship having their Friday night fights, you're not gonna get the exposure that you want. You know, and people are gonna forget about you, especially if you're not a household name. It doesn't matter how many belts you have. Now, if you don't care about being a household name, that's fine. But if you want to maximize your sacrifice, aka your body, and what you just gave to this shit, I recommend that you create your own separate marketing company. Okay, make it a company. Why? Get an LLC, all that. Why? Because you can put a lot of things under as a tax write-off. You know, camera, because your car could be a tax write-off because you're transporting your camera, or you could have. I remember one time, this isn't a tax write-off, but I had a fight, and I brought one of my friends with me. He was my cameraman, mind you. I purchased the camera. You know what I mean? You get what I'm trying to say? It's my camera, but he's my cameraman. You know, and he didn't have to pay to enter the venue due to him being part of my team. So there's benefits to having your own media company. You know, if I solely relied on the events or the person running the show to promote myself, it wouldn't be in my best interest. Now, I can find some cool clips, maybe to the photographer in the area or to the spectator recording. But if you want people to see your vision the way you see it, you have to take the initiative. And guess what? I'm not talking bullshit because we have the Mac Life. Shout out to McGregor. Conor McGregor was so intelligent, created the Mac Life, and look at it. It's $1 million organization. So, and they're gonna promote him forever and people around him and his team and other things. So again, guys, make sure you create your own promotional company, or your own, I would say, marketing and advertisement company. I have a film and photography company, which covers all those things for me. I am the CEO of that company, but and I purchased all the equipment that I need, and every time I have a fight, I make sure I have someone who's camera savvy come out to the fights and record for me. When I'm in fight camp, for example, if you have an iPhone 15 and up, iPhone 14 and up Pro, bro, you could put that joint in cinematic mode and you can make your own embedded or UFC embedded type of thing, or your own what's that shit, the boxing version called? Oh yeah, apologies guys, I've been up since 3 a.m. so my mind's a little foggy right now. I can't remember the boxing version, but basically your own behind the scenes of your training camp, right? Without showing too much, you can easily curate a nice cinematic. You know what I mean? You go on CapCut, you invest in CapCut Pro. I'm giving y'all the game right now. Y'all should be charging for this shit. But you invest in CapCut Pro, and then fuck.